The next point, we should ensure whatever we see is clear.
That means work is being done. We can see that it is in opposite direction.
Hello students, we are here once again for another lesson on economics. The topic that we'll consider today is industrialization. My name still remains Nehemiah Joshua. Now industrialization, it is in continuation of what we treated in our last lesson. Let me briefly summarize what we learned in our last lesson before we continue. We started with the concept of firm, where we said a firm, it is an entity that specializes in producing goods under one administration or management. Example of a firm, we have the Unilever Nigerian PLC, we have Texaco Nigerian Limited. We equally went further to discuss an industry, where we said an industry, it is a group of firms that produce similar products. The example of industry or industries in petroleum industry. We have Owando, we have Texaco, Mobil, and the rest of them. We equally went further to discuss the meaning of industrialization, where we said industrialization, it is a process which improves the production capacity in an industrial activity. Now, we equally discussed some of the types of industries, where we discuss mining industry, construction industry, and the rest of them. We equally discuss localization of industry, the advantages and the disadvantages of localization of industry, and equally factors that affect the location of industry. Now today, we will focus on this following outline. Number one, the role of industrialization in economic development of a nation. Number two, problems of industrialization, problems of industrial growth in West Africa. Number three, solutions to the problems of industrial development in West Africa. And number four, ways or methods by which government can encourage industrialization in Nigeria. And number five, how West African countries can promote indigenous industries. Now, the first outline, the roles of industrialization in economic development of a nation. Industrialization or industrial sector contribute greatly to the economic development of nations in the following ways. Number one, increase in gross national product. Now, the industrial sector, through its operations like payment of taxes, increase the earnings accruable to the nation. Now, this gross national product, with the performance of industries in a particular country like Nigeria, it boosts the performance of the national product we have in the country. Number two, employment opportunities. Industries provide employment or jobs for many people in the country. Like in the case of Nigeria, we have many or a large number of unemployed youths that are roaming on the street without jobs. With the establishment of more industries, it will go a long way to reduce the number of unemployed youth we have in the country. Number three, technological development. Industrialization can also lead to development of technology in the country. Now, with the advent of technologies, our industries in Nigeria, it helped to boost the performance of industries in Nigeria. Now, it happens that industries are using machines or modern machines, and the use of those modern machines, it helps to boost the level of production in our industries today. Number four, infrastructural development. The establishment of an industry in a place stimulates the development of infrastructural facilities like roads, electricity, pipe-borne water, among others. Now, if these infrastructural facilities are available, it will go a long way to boost the performance or to encourage industrialization in a particular area. An industry cannot be sited in a place where there is no electricity. If there is no electricity, it will be a problem, because if you site an industry in a place that does not have electricity, you are to make use of generators, which you will consume more diesels. And instead of you to maximize profit, you operate at a loss. Therefore, industries must be sited in places that have electricity, pipe-borne water, and the rest of them. Number 5, diversification of the economy. The industrial sector helps different countries to prevent overdependence on only one product. Like the case of Nigerians, Nigerians solely depend on oil, and it is not the best that way. That is why, in most cases, government try to diversify the sources of income in this country. Now, the present administration decided to invest so much on agriculture in order to diversify the sources, not to only rely on oil. And as a result of that, in agricultural sector, in terms of rice production, Nigeria is geared toward self-sufficiency in terms of rice production. Number 6, funding of educational and research. The industrial sector provides capital for the research work in all nations. For example, the educational tax fund. They provide funds for research institute in order to embark on research that will bring development, in our industries, in order to apply the result of the research work to improve the performance of our industries in a country like Nigeria. Number 7, improving standard of living. Industrialization also leads to improvement or raising the standard of living of the people through production of goods that are cheap and affordable. With the presence of industrialization in a particular area, it attracts a lot of infrastructural facilities. And those infrastructural facilities make the standard of living of people to be high. For example, like a place that have electricity, it will attract the attention of investors to site their industries in those areas. And if industries are sited in those areas, it will more people will be or can be employed to work, and that will reduce the rate of unemployment. Problems of industrial growth in West Africa. Now, the following factors are responsible for the relatively low level of industrial growth in West Africa. Number 1, shortage of raw materials. Now, lack of sufficient raw materials available to industries hinder large-scale production. Now, what affects the level of production we have in some industries? It is as a result of shortage of raw materials. Now, one of the factors that affect the location of industry, it is availability of raw materials, or near the proximity, or an industry should be sited close to the source of raw materials in order to enable that industry to obtain the raw materials into that industry. Therefore, if the raw materials are not available, an industry will spend much in order to be able to get materials that they will use in industries. And instead of them to maximize profit, they will not get it the way they should, the way it should. Number 2, inadequate skilled manpower. Skilled manpower required for high industrial growth is grossly inadequate in developing countries. Developing countries like Nigeria, now there is likely inadequate skilled manpower. Those people that will man the industries, if they are not well skilled, if they are not well trained, then it will show in their performance. Therefore, if people are well trained, those that man the industries, if they are well skilled or trained, the performance will increase. Number 3, high degree of foreign dependence. Most products made in West Africa are of low quality when compared with those in developed countries. Hence, people prefer or depend on foreign goods. Now, this point simply spell out the scenario of what is happening in our society. Most people, like Nigerian, they prefer to buy foreign-made product, even if the locally made product are of higher quality than the foreign product. But because it is called foreign product, they will prefer to go and buy a product that is coming from either from China, from US, or any developed country. Therefore, it is not good for us to depend on foreign product. Now, depending on our locally made product will go a long way to boost the performance of our local industries in Nigeria. Therefore, most of the African countries or most of the developing countries like Nigeria should not rely solely on the foreign-made product. Number 4, low purchasing power of the populace. Large-scale poverty in West African countries make people to have low purchasing power. Now, as we all know, most countries or most people in West African countries, Nigerian is part of it. Majority of people or most people are poor. And in that case, they don't have enough money to be able to purchase or to buy goods and services that they want. Therefore, as a result of that, it makes them to have low purchasing power, to have low money to be able to buy goods and services. Number 5, inadequate power supply. There are frequent disruptions of power supplies in industrial areas, and many areas do not even have power supply. Now, this disruption in power supply that we are talking about, it affects the performance of industries we have. Now, if there is any power failure, it will affect the activities in the industry. Therefore, it is good for power to be stable. And if there is a stable power, it will go a long way to improve the standard or the performance of industries in the country. Number 6, poor management. Corruption, embezzlement, and negligence of duty are very common in West African countries. Now, most people engage themselves in activities in corrupt activities, embezzle public funds or public resources, which is not the best. Therefore, people in a country like Nigeria should be transparent, should be sincere in whatever they are doing, in order to respect or how to handle public, in order to handle government activities, to handle government properties with care. Doing that will help to be able to maintain or to improve our industries. If government or Nigerians or citizens steal the money or embezzle the fund, then government will not even have what they will use in order to establish more industries and employ people to reduce the level of unemployment. Number 7, inadequate transport and communication facilities. Transportation networks like roads, railways, and the rest of them, and communication facilities are grossly inadequate in West African countries. Now, this poses major problems that we are facing in our industries today. Now, we have the solutions to the problems of industrial development in West Africa. The solutions to the problems of industrial development in West Africa. Number 1, acquisition of skills. Skills required for industrial operations should be acquired by people through regular training. Now, if training and retraining is given to the personnel or people that man these industries, it will go a long way to help to boost the performance of industries we have. Number 2, good government policies. There should be good government policies to encourage and protect local industries. Government policies like what happened in our society now, the present government or administration decided to ban the importation of goods into the country. Doing that will help to encourage or to improve the local industries in order to engage into large scale production. Therefore, the policies of government should be directed toward the policies that will encourage industries or people, businessmen, to establish more industries that will embark on producing local made products. And Nigerians should equally support the initiative of government by patronizing the locally made product. Doing that will encourage the local industries in order to perform very well. Number 3, incentives to local industries. There should be incentives to local industries. Example, we have the tax holiday, interest-free loans. If that is given to businessmen, it will encourage them to embark on establishing more industries. If tax holiday is given to the investors or businessmen, they will be happy, and that will draw their attention to establish more industries. And if credit facility is being given to them, it will go a long way to improve or to encourage them to establish or to expand their industries. Number 4, provision of transport and communication facilities. This should be provided to ensure easy distribution of goods produced. Any goods produced in the country, if there is good transport and communication facilities, it will help businessmen or industries to be able to distribute goods and services in order to enable or to improve the standard of living of people in the country. Number 5, active government participation. The government should participate actively in industrial development. That is, government should be co-owners of industries in Nigeria. Now, government are not supposed to leave the operations of industries in the hands of the private individual. They should monitor and ensure that they fully participate in the activities or the operations of industries in Nigeria. And if that is done, it will go a long way to boost their performance or to encourage them, and that will result to large-scale production in our industries in Nigeria. Now, the next item, ways or method by which government can encourage industrialization in Nigeria. Now, federal government has adopted the following ways or method of encouraging industrialization in Nigeria. Number 1, protection of infant industries. The government protects infant industries through high import duties, outright ban or placement of quotas on imported commodities which compete with those of home industries. Now, the development of infrastructural facilities, if that is done, it will go a long way. And if government decided to embark or to encourage our investors through tax holiday and the rest of them, that will draw their attention into the country. Number 3, the establishment of financial institutions. establishment of financial institutions. The government has established financial institutions to aid private enterprises. Example like the Bank of Industries. The Bank of Industries, they are saddled with the responsibility to ensure that they give credit facility to people or businessmen that want to embark or to establish industries. And if that is done, many people or many business or investors will get the credit facility and establish more industries. Number 4, increase industrial loans. An increase in industrial loan will enable more businessmen to obtain loans and establish more industries. Just like what I said earlier, if credit facility is made available to businessmen, it will go a long way to enable them to expand the performance of their industries, and that will go a long way to help enable them to produce goods in large quantity. Number 5, establishment of higher institutions. The government has also established universities, colleges of technology with their aim of developing human resources. Now, these universities and colleges of technologies, government established them in order to train people to increase the performance of those people that man the industries in order to embark or to apply the knowledge acquired to improve production in the industries. Now, the next item, how West African countries can promote indigenous industries. Number 1, greater reliance on domestic raw materials. West African countries should have a greater reliance in sourcing domestic raw materials for their industries. If the raw materials that we are using in our industries are gotten locally, it will help to boost the industrial activities. Number 3, research and application of research results. They should also embark on intensive research works, and the results should be applied for industrial growth. If the results that our researchers are getting, if they are being put into use, it will increase the performance of our industries. Number 3, availability of finance. Finance or capital should be made available for indigenous industries. If capital or money is made available for businessmen, it will enable them to increase their performance to produce goods in large quantity. Number 4, improve social and economic infrastructures. There should be improved social and economic infrastructures like electricity, seaports, airports, telecommunications, among others, in order to boost industrial growth. Number 5, an enabling environment, that is a legal, social, and cultural environment should be put in place to not only enable but also motivate indigenous industries. These are some of the ways, or these are some of the ways that can promote indigenous industries in Nigeria. Now, students, I have assignment for you. The assignment goes like this. Question 1, discuss any 3 roles played by industrialization in economic development of a nation. Number 1, again, discuss any 3 roles played by industrialization in economic development of a nation. Number 2, mention 3 problems of industrial growth in West Africa. Question 2 again, mention 3 problems of industrial growth in West Africa. Number 3, list any 4 solutions to the problems of industrial development in West Africa. Number 3, list any 4 solutions to the problems of industrial development in West Africa. Number 4, explain 2 ways by which West African countries can promote indigenous industries. Explain 2 ways by which West African countries can promote indigenous industries. Now, students, I have the following references or the following books that I will recommend for you to console in the case of doing your assignment. Now, number 1, we have Essential Economics for Senior Secondary School by C.E. Ande. Essential Economics for Senior Secondary Schools by C.E. Ande. And number 2, Fundamentals of Economics for Senior Secondary Schools by R.A.I. Anyanwocha. Fundamentals of Economics for Senior Secondary Schools by R.A.I. Anyanwocha. Now, student, in the course of doing the assignment, if there is any problem that you encounter or any comment or any observation, you can reach me through this number 080-364-22966. The number again 080-364-22966. My name still remains Nehemiah Joshua. Now, student, I urge you to stay home, stay safe, and keep learning. Thanks for listening.